Hi, I'm Steve Becker. I'm a licensed clinical social worker in Westfield, New Jersey. I've been in a private practice for about 25 years, and I have a long-standing clinical interest in sociopathic, psychopathic personality disorder. I prefer to use the term psychopath, psychopathic personality, or psychopathy, although I'm making no distinction between psychopath and sociopath. Um, I've written a book called The Inner World of the Psychopath, a definitive primer on the psychopathic personality. And I've made a number of these videos on the subject of psychopaths, who they are, what makes them tick, with the intention of informing the lay public about these kinds of exploitative personalities. This is another in a series of videos that are very unscripted, very unpolished, on the subject again of psychopathy or psychopathic personality. My expertise is also in the area of narcissism and narcissistic personality disorder, and there's some controversy around the connection between narcissism and psychopathy, but I think it's fair to say that psychopaths, also known as sociopaths, exhibit the highest, most malignant levels of narcissism, so that all psychopaths are extremely malignantly narcissistic, whereas it's certainly not the case that all narcissists are psychopaths. In this video, I want to address the subject of Donald Trump. I've been meaning to share my thoughts about Trump in a video for quite a while. I've been writing about Trump for quite some time now, a year and a half, since the start of the presidential election, the primaries. So I've been blogging quite a bit about Trump, but I want to really I want to call out, as I've done in some of my writing, I want to call out the clinical world on its, what I consider to be its shameless, or shameful, I should say, silence on Trump. Trump has been referenced along the way, properly so, as having some extremely narcissistic traits and qualities, but there's been a reluctance, and I really believe an abdication of responsibility on the part of the clinical world to call him what I strongly believe he is. And what explains him, I believe Trump is a textbook psychopath. I think he's a psychopathic personality. And I think that Trump's psychopathic personality is about the only explanation we have for the outlandish, transgressive behaviors and attitudes that we've seen from the very beginning. Trump, this subject invites a great deal of divisiveness. I expect allegations of political bias. For me, this is not a political issue. This presidential campaign was never a political issue. It was a clinical issue. And in a case where I strongly believe that last November, that America elected a flat-out psychopath to be its president. Trump exhibits at the highest levels the traits that we've known for decades that are associated with psychopathic personality. There have been a few clinicians here and there who've come out and acknowledged, again, Trump's traits. Some press and journalists have come out and made some eloquent observations about Trump's narcissism, but few people, and particularly again in the clinical world, have come out and really described what these traits really mean, what they amount to. And what they amount to is the fact that our president is highly psychopathic. Psychopathic traits include manipulativeness, emotional shallowness, glibness, impulsivity, remorselessness, unconscionableness, a lack of empathy. I would add a lack of compassion as well, callousness, or an indifference to the harm one causes others, also a tendency to seek stimulation provocatively and antisocially when bored. And these are all, I should add, and perhaps among the most important traits of psychopaths. And when we talk about psychopaths, we're talking about people who possess these traits at high levels in combinations, not in isolated traits here and there. Pathological lying is very typical of psychopaths. They are pathological liars, and they're particularly pathological in the ways that they lie. They're shameless, brazen liars who lie with contempt, and even when busted for their lies, remain unaccountable, and show a remarkable, again, shamelessness, even to be confronted with evidence of their lies. Trump exhibits all of these traits, inarguably, at the highest levels. From a lying perspective, Trump is an absolutely epically pathological liar. And, part of the problem with Trump is that the volume, the constancy of his psychopathic attitudes and behavioral displays, I think, have really had a kind of a desensitizing effect on people. We've become almost inured to the unrelenting, shameless, brazen displays of Trump's psychopathy. He has been, as I said, alluded to as a narcissist, or somebody with narcissistic qualities, but the clinical world has taken refuge behind the code of ethics that discourages or prohibits the diagnosis or the diagnosing of public figures. I think that the clinical world has, as I said, with cowardice, hidden behind that code, and really abdicated its responsibility, its ethical responsibility, to call Trump what he is and to explain to the public what possibly could account for these unprecedented displays of utter, outlandish, antisocially audacious behaviors from Trump and attitudes, going way back. Trump himself, is someone who hasn't disguised any of this. He hasn't disguised any of these traits. He hasn't disguised his pathological lying patterns. He hasn't disguised any of his many displays of contempt. Trump, like many and most psychopaths, expresses and displays aggressive outrage to be held to account, so that even when the press holds him to account, he goes on the attack, and he becomes slanderous and vindictive and defiant, which is very typical of psychopathic personalities. The psychopath's mentality is a transgressive mentality. Psychopaths transgress, they violate boundaries, rules, they're limit testers, envelope pushers, game players who like to get over on people and get over on systems. And this is absolutely the essence of Trump. So politics notwithstanding, and I anticipate, being accused of political bias, it is my strong view that Trump exhibits every trait associated with psychopathic personality, and he also exhibits and conforms exactly to and distinctively to the psychopath's mentality. As a clinician, I want to be and have been, out there expressing my views about this. And I think it's extremely important that there not be this spinning or diluting of who Trump really is. Yes, he's a blustering narcissist, but he's far more dangerously disordered than even that. He's a psychopathic personality, and as I said, last November, America chose to elect a psychopath to the presidency. I'll have more to say about this. I've been writing on this. I invite you to read my blog posts and also check out my book. I hope you do. I'll see you soon. Thanks.